Assalamualaikum. My name is Nazifah Sahira binti Muhammad Nizam. My matrix number is 202082962.
My name is Siti Umaira binti Rosli and my matrix number is 2020497478.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Rafiq Rahimi bin Rahmat. My matrix number is 2020614072. I am from class JBA1195B.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Afrina binti Abdurrahim, student ID 202081174 from class JBA1195B.
The case of Joachimson vs Swiss Bank Corporation is the case that related to the Chapter 1 in relation to the fundamental nature of the legal relationship between banker and customer. Therefore, I would like to let you know the definition of banker and customer. Definition of banker. A bank or a banker is defined as a person who engage in banking activities such as the business of receiving deposits on current account, deposits account, savings account or other similar account, paying and collecting checks drawn by or paid in by customers, and providing finance through the lending of money, leasing business, factoring business and other negotiable instruments or any other business that the bank engage in. Definition of customer. There is no specific definition of customer. The relationship between a banker and a customer does not come into existence unless both parties intend to enter into relationship. Therefore, the most obvious definition of customers is a person who has an account at a particular bank.
Now, I will share about the right of banker. First, for its services, the bank may charge a fair commission as well as interest on loans and overdraft. Not just that, the bank has right to require that the client use reasonable care while drawing checks and other repayment instructions. Also, the bank may assert a right of lien over any property belonging to clients that comes into possession during regular business operation, including checks submitted for collections.
Now, I will brief about customer right. Customer also have rights such as right to be supplied with a statement or passbook to maintain a high degree of accuracy in their bookkeeping. Then, customer also has right to be repaid the balance standing to the credit of the customer account and has right to interest on his deposit account but not on his current account. And lastly, the customer has right to appropriate payment made to any of the account where he has two or more borrowing accounts.
Now, I will talk about the facts of the case. Siegfried Joachimson, Jacob Joachimson and L.E. Mark ran a business together in Manchester. L.E. Mark was a British citizen by birth, but the other two partners were German nationals. The company established and maintained a bank account with the Swiss Bank Corporation. During World War I, no attempt was made to wind up the partnership's affairs. Siegfried Joachimson died on August 1, 1914. This had the effect of dissolving the partnership based on the English partnership law at that time. However, 3 days later, on August 4, 1914, World War I broke out and Jacob Joachimson was forced to return to Germany. The first bank account was dormant for the duration of the war. The case report suggests that this could have been due to legal issues. The firm opened and maintained a bank account with the Swiss bank, despite Swiss bank prohibition on dealing with enemy alien property. Following the war, the English partner L.E. Mark attempted to wind up the partnership and sought repayment from the bank of the 2,312 held in the bank account. The bank refused to repay the sums in the account, arguing that either the firm had made no demand for repayment of the sums and thus they were not due, or in the alternative that if the right to repayment arose upon the death of Siegfried Joachimson, then it was now barred by the statute of limitation. The case report indicates that there was a great deal of procedural wrangling at first instance in relation to whether the claim could be brought by an individual partner or had to be brought in the name of the firm.
Thank you, Siti Umaira. Now, I will present the case explanation. The case explanation that I am going to present is basically the further explanation based on facts of the case that has been presented by Siti Umaira previously. To give clear understanding, this case is about a judicial decision of the Court of Appeal of England and Wales in relation to the fundamental nature of the legal relationship between banker and customer. So, in this case, the bank is under obligation to repay the money of the customers unless the customers make a demand. For example, the customer will fill in the withdrawal form or using the check to take out the money. Then, the bank's obligation to pay is conditional upon the check being issued in proper form, like must not make alteration in the check. Other than that, the bank has promised to repay is at the branch where the account is kept. For example, the customer is not allowed to withdraw the money at any other branch. And lastly, customer must have sufficient funds in their account for the bank to make the payment. For instance, the customers cannot withdraw the money more than what they have in their account. Alright, that's the end of my case explanation. Let's hear what the court held about this case that will be presented by my other group members.
For now, I will explain about the court held for the case between Joachimson versus Swiss Bank. According to the case report, there was a lot of procedural arguing at first instance over whether the claim could be brought by a single partner or had to be made in the firm's name. The Court of Appeal held unanimously that the claim was not statute barred until a customer demanded repayment from the bank. The debt was not due and payable, and thus limitation period would not run. Also, the judge ruled that until the money was requested, there was no responsibility to pay the money that was in the account. Not just that, the bank indication that the customer wanted his money returned would be the service of writ of summons. So, the court declared that an implied term of the relationship which exists between a bank and its current account customer. So, a demand should be made first for repayment before the debt becomes due.
Atkin LJ pointed out, as a result of the court decision, the statutory time in which to bring an action for repayment of the deposit does not run from the time the deposit is made, but rather from the time valid demand is made for repayment and it is refused.
Thank you, everyone. We finally have reached the end of our group presentation. Before we end, allow me to conclude about this case. The point decided in this case was that a customer does not have a right of action against its bank for repayment of sums until the customer makes a demand, and accordingly, for the purposes of limitation periods, that time does not run until such a demand is made. However, the reason the decision is considered so important is for the influential comments made by way of obiter dictum by Atkin LJ in relation to the nature of the banker-customer relationship. The case is also cited as the leading authority for the proposition that a demand for repayment must be made at the branch of the bank where the account is kept, like a position which appears increasingly anachronistic in modern banking. Alright, that's all from us. Thank you for lending your ears and have a good day.